Hey everyone, welcome back to Podcast and Chill on the Learn English Podcast channel.
Thanks for tuning in again. We love having you here with us.
You know, Gwen, one thing I've noticed is how much our audience loves topics about developing their thinking skills.
That's true, Leo. It makes sense. They're probably looking for ways to improve their English learning process.
Absolutely. Speaking of improving, Gwen, have you ever heard about growth mindset and fixed mindset?
Of course, Leo. A growth mindset is all about believing that your abilities can grow with effort and learning, while a fixed mindset assumes your abilities are set in stone.
Oh, so if I believe I can be the next big comedian by practicing every day, that's a growth mindset?
Well, let's not get carried away, Leo. But yes, it's about believing in improvement.
Great. Because today's topic is all about how adopting a growth mindset can help you in your language learning journey and beyond.
That's right. Stick around and we'll break it all down. And don't forget, we've created a free PDF with tips and tricks. Check it out in the description or comments below.
So, Gwen, growth mindset, it sounds fancy, but what is it really?
Well, Leo, it's the belief that your abilities, intelligence, and skills can improve through hard work, learning, and persistence.
So it's like saying, I'm not good at this yet.
Exactly. It's about focusing on progress, not perfection. People with a growth mindset see mistakes as stepping stones, not roadblocks.
That's refreshing. So, if I mess up my English grammar, it's not the end of the world?
Not at all. It's just a chance to learn and get better. In fact, studies by Stanford professor Carol Dweck show that embracing challenges helps you grow stronger mentally.
Oh, I've heard about her work. She talks about how kids who believe they can improve do better in school, right?
Exactly. And it's not just kids. This works for adults, too. It's like the phrase, you're never too old to learn.
I like that. But how do I actually develop this magical mindset?
Start by seeing challenges as opportunities. For example, if you find English pronunciation difficult, think of it as a fun puzzle to solve.
Oh, like trying to say rural without twisting my tongue?
Exactly. And don't shy away from mistakes. Remember, every mistake is proof that you're trying.
That's comforting. But sometimes, failure feels so personal. Like, what if I'm just not good at something?
That's where you reframe your thinking. Instead of saying, I can't do this, ask, what can I do to get better?
I like that perspective. So, effort plays a big role here?
Absolutely. Think of effort like watering a plant. Without it, nothing grows.
And what about persistence? How does that fit in?
Persistence is key. It's like climbing a mountain. Slow and steady wins the race. You keep going, one step at a time, even when it's hard.
So, no shortcuts then?
Not if you want real growth. Shortcuts might give you quick results, but they don't build the long-term skills or resilience you need.
But isn't it tempting to take the easy way out?
Of course it is. But think about it this way. When you take a shortcut, you miss out on valuable lessons along the way.
So, the journey is just as important as the destination?
Exactly. Imagine learning English just by memorizing words for a test. You might pass the test, but will you be able to have a real conversation?
I get it now. It's like building a house without a strong foundation. It might look good for a while, but it won't last.
That's a great analogy, Leo. Growth mindset is about taking the time to build that strong foundation.
And what about patience? Do you think it's connected to this whole no shortcuts idea?
Definitely. Patience teaches you to value the effort you're putting in. It's like planting a tree. You water it every day, but it takes time to grow and bear fruit.
Oh, I like that image. So every time I make a mistake, it's like watering my tree a little more?
Exactly. Mistakes are part of growth. They show you're trying, and trying is the first step to improving.
And when I finally see the fruit, it'll taste even sweeter because I've worked for it.
That's the mindset. Growth isn't about perfection, it's about progress.
Got it. From now on, no shortcuts for me. I'll water my tree every day, even if it takes time.
And trust me, Leo, it'll be worth it.
Let's take a closer look at 5 useful phrases from today's conversation. 1. Growth mindset. A belief that abilities and skills can improve through effort and learning. Example. A growth mindset helps you see mistakes as lessons instead of failures.
2. Face the music. To confront a difficult situation rather than avoiding it. Example. Instead of avoiding challenges, it's better to face the music and grow from them.
3. A stepping stone. A step or stage that helps you move closer to your goal. Example. Every small success is a stepping stone toward greater achievements.
4. Break the mold. To do something differently and move away from traditional ways. Example. Adopting a growth mindset means breaking the mold of thinking you're just not good enough.
5. Go the extra mile. To make extra effort to achieve something. Example. People with a growth mindset are willing to go the extra mile to improve themselves. Now let's dive into some discussion questions. Question 1. What's one challenge you faced recently, and how did you overcome it?
For me, I tried learning a new skill, but it was frustrating at first. Then I reminded myself that it's all part of the process.
That's a great example, Gwen. It's inspiring to hear how you stayed motivated.
Question 2. How can we apply a growth mindset in learning English?
I think the key is to focus on progress, not perfection. Celebrate small wins, like mastering a new word or phrase.
Absolutely. And don't be afraid to make mistakes. They're stepping stones to improvement.
What about you, listeners? How do you approach challenges in learning? Let us know in the comments. So, Gwen, we've talked about growth mindset and overcoming challenges. What's next?
Let's talk about feedback.
Oh, feedback. You mean like when I tell a joke and you say it's not funny?
Well, not quite. Feedback is a tool to improve, not just criticism.
I guess that depends on how you take it, right?
That's the key. A growth mindset helps us see feedback as an opportunity to grow, not a personal attack.
That makes sense. So, how can we take feedback positively?
Start by asking yourself, what can I learn from this? Instead of thinking, they're being mean, think, how can this help me improve?
I like that. It's like turning lemons into lemonade.
That's right. Another thing to keep in mind is surrounding yourself with positivity.
You mean like hanging out with people who lift you up?
Yes, whether it's friends, colleagues, or a community, being around people who encourage a growth mindset can make a huge difference.
Oh, so it's like planting yourself in good soil to grow.
Good comparison, Leo.
Okay, but what about practical steps? How do we actually build a growth mindset?
Start by trying something new every month. It could be learning a skill, trying a recipe, or even taking on a small project at work.
That sounds fun. What else?
Ask more questions instead of making negative statements. Instead of saying, I'm not good at this, ask, how can I get better at this?
I like that. It's like flipping the script in your head.
That's the idea. Finally, keep a journal of what you learn each day.
That's great advice, Gwen. I feel like asking questions instead of focusing on what we can't do helps a lot.
Yeah, Leo. It's all about shifting your perspective. For example, instead of saying, I can't understand this grammar, you could ask, what steps can I take to learn it better?
Oh, like turning a wall into a door. That's powerful.
Exactly. It's about seeing challenges as opportunities.
What about when things don't work out, though? Like, you try something new and fail. That can be discouraging.
That's a big part of a growth mindset, Leo. Instead of seeing failure as the end, you can view it as feedback.
So, it's like a roadmap. Failure shows you where to take a better route.
For instance, if you try to speak English and make mistakes, that's not failure. It's a sign of progress.
I guess every mistake is like a stepping stone.
That's a great way to think about it. Let's talk more about creating a supportive environment.
You mean surrounding yourself with people who inspire you?
Exactly. Think about it. If you're around people who encourage you, you're more likely to keep going even when things get tough.
So it's like having a cheering squad for your goals.
Yes, and it's also important to be that kind of person for others.
Like a positivity ripple effect.
That's right. The more positive energy you put out, the more you'll get back.
And what about those practical steps we mentioned earlier? Let's expand on that.
Sure. Here's a simple example. If you're learning a language, set a goal to learn 5 new words a day. It's small, but adds up over time.
That's manageable. What else?
Another idea is to track your progress. Write down what you learn each day. It helps you see how far you've come.
Oh, so it's like giving yourself a high five in writing.
Yes, these small steps can make a big difference over time.
Listeners, what small steps have helped you grow? Let us know in the comments. Let's pick 5 phrases from today's discussion that can inspire us. 1. Build from the ground up. To start something from the very beginning and develop it step by step. Example: she built her language skills from the ground up by practicing daily.
2. Learn through trial and error. To improve by trying different methods and learning from mistakes. Example: he learned to cook through trial and error, testing different recipes until he got it right.
3. Take ownership. To accept responsibility for your actions and focus on making progress. Example: taking ownership of her studies helped her improve her grades significantly.
4. Keep pushing forward. To continue making progress even when things are difficult. Example: despite the challenges, he kept pushing forward and achieved his goals.
5. Shift your perspective. To change the way you view a situation to find new opportunities or solutions. Example: she shifted her perspective and saw challenges as opportunities to grow. Let's start with a question, Gwen. How do you personally step out of your comfort zone?
I'd say I challenge myself by trying something unfamiliar, like speaking in front of a crowd. It's nerve-wracking but rewarding.
Wow, that sounds brave. For me, I try smaller things, like learning to bake a new cake. It's less scary but still makes me step out a little.
That's a great start. Taking small steps is still growth. Okay, here's another one for you, Leo. What's one failure you've experienced, and how did you turn it around?
I remember burning my first attempt at making bread, but instead of giving up, I tried again the next day. The second loaf was pretty good.
That's a fun example. It shows persistence really pays off.
And you, Gwen? How do you handle failure?
I try to reflect on what went wrong and learn from it. Like when I didn't do well in a presentation, I practiced more and asked for feedback. It made all the difference.
That's inspiring. What about you, audience? How do you overcome challenges or failure? Let us know in the comments below. That wraps up today's episode about building a growth mindset.
We hope you feel inspired to embrace challenges, learn from feedback, and keep pushing forward.
And remember, even small steps can lead to big changes.
Don't forget to check out the free PDF in the description for tips and exercises to help you practice today's topic.
Also, let us know in the comments. What's one step you'll take to develop your growth mindset starting today?
We'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences.
Thank you for joining us on Podcast and Chill, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Take care, keep learning, and keep growing.
Bye for now.